Hello my friends and welcome back to Ultimate Minecraft. I'm so happy to have you all back. This is episode number 27, if I can count. And the last episode was a really productive one. We built a lot, we added a lot to our village, we nearly doubled it in size. But something has happened in between episodes. We ended the last episode off on this platform right here. And, well, Elementalist 75 fell off scaffolding. All that happened was I logged out immediately after ending the last clip of the last episode. I went to edit that video and I came back this morning to continue recording. Right? And, well, I think scaffolding loads in slower than the player does. I wasn't even aware I was falling, because the landscape also loads in slower than the player does, so before anything around me had loaded in, I had a death message on my screen saying that I fell to my death. So I've since then fortified our platform. It is now stone bricks, so hopefully that won't be happening again. But that did highlight a flaw of our village, a flaw that we will have to address in today's episode, my friends. And that flaw is that if I do die down there, for whatever reason, I'm busy farming up trees down there as one example, but if I do die down there and I respawn in one of these beds, which is great because I have beds in almost every single one of these houses, so it's really easy for me to respawn here. Usually my spawn point isn't obstructed or ruined. I'm not even carrying a bed on me at the moment, but that leaves me with a problem in that if I'm up here busy doing things and I die down there, it is really difficult for me to get down there without an elytra. So we need some easier access, because yes, I may have an elytra, but in the greater lore of things, that is a hero element. Only the hero of a Minecraft world would have that, the one who has slain the dragon. Regular villagers that would occupy these spaces, they would not have slain the dragon, they would not have an elytra. So how do they come and go? So that is plan A for today's episode, and I just thought, since I've been farming trees down here, I've gotten a different view. The elytra doesn't really allow for these sorts of user views. It kind of restricts you to flying around a lot, but this view right here, especially now as the sun sets, is a really nice view of the village. It looks like it belongs there. All of these posts and things on this edge, I was thinking of building more on this side, but now that I look at it here, I really like that it is just rigid and structured and not hidden behind buildings. So I'm thinking this edge is pretty much done. Something else that I did do between episodes, the most astute of you might have noticed top left of my screen, there is now a bunch of numbers. I have replaced Optifine, gotten rid of it, because I really wanted to get the replay mod working. And the replay mod and Optifine do not work together, and apparently they will not be working together ever again. I don't know which party is responsible for it, but usually there's a whole bunch of things that need to be updated and tweaked to make them work together. That's not happening anymore. So instead, I've gotten rid of Optifine and I have replaced it with a suite of mods. You can find the full list of mods down in the description of this video. But basically I've replaced it with Sodium, which also is an optimization mod, and it does work in tandem with the replay mod. So I'm thinking that I'm going to use the replay mod and give you guys a bit of a time lapse of me working my way down, building the pathway and linking it to the ground down there. Another thing I would like to do while I'm at it, because that is going to be a fairly short time lapse, we have the spider farm way off in that direction. Now the spider farm does technically form part of this empire, of this city, and I would like to link it up to this via a road. It's going to be a long road, but hopefully I can do it in a reasonable amount of time. And it's not going to be a very impressive road, but it should make sense lore-wise that these people actually get the resources from that farm that they can then trade with. And as we take this bend, I think this is currently my favorite part of the village, being inside of it. I love just being able to see houses and houses and to be able to walk between two houses. I love this. But my friends, I'm armed with a ton of road building resources, so for the first time of 1.18, roll that time lapse, my friends. Well, that actually went rather smoothly, I think. And ooh, I wasn't expecting it to glow quite as much as it has. I know I added a lot of lanterns. But yeah, I like that. Nice little path. Obviously, I'm going to be building a couple of buildings to either side, and I've got plans for that guy, so stick around. Stay tuned. That's happening in this episode, my friends. I like that a lot. That really looks good. Let's get a bit of a further distance view. This is probably my favorite part of playing in the solo player world, is the incredible render distance I can get out of this. Yeah. These torches over here are ruining it a bit, and that line of trees is definitely not doing it any favors. But I like that. I really like that. Now, I need to connect our spider farm to this little village, so roll the second time lapse of the video. Oh no you don't. This time lapse ain't done. Hold on to your belts, cause this is gonna keep going for a little bit longer. That is correct, my friends. Not only did I spend an hour and a half making a road, but I also spent a little bit of time and I built a little campsite, a halfway station between the village in that direction and our spider farm in that direction. Yeah, this is really nice. I like, if you've got long roads, build something in the middle of the thing. Build little attractions, hidden things that you'll only discover by wandering along that road, by exploring a little bit. The lore here is that this is a long road, and it is probably best that people don't make the treacherous journey all the way through the jungle late at night while they're tired, so instead they can camp here pretty close to the edge. And these tents are definitely not made of sheep's wool. No, my friends, only the best spider silk gathered from our spider farm. And I'm not lying. I didn't shear a single sheep to make these 3 tents. All this wool came from the string that I've been gathering from using the spider farm, and you can see that all of my tools are fully mended again, so I've been using it quite a bit. But I really like this. This is a really nice, lovely little piece of lore. The little cart that they use to ferry the ingredients back and forth. And now the silk is not the most valuable thing there. The reason these people use this road and go all the way to that little spider farm is for the spider eyes, the potion ingredients. That is the valuable part. Because in the past, the only way I would have gotten any spider eyes to make my potions of weakness for my villager conversions would have been by hunting spiders that spawn naturally at night, because I didn't have a spider farm. I could have gone looking for a mineshaft, but if memory serves, the only mineshaft I had access to in the old world was a very, very long distance away in our mine shafts, in our mining tunnels, our branch mine. That mine shaft probably isn't there anymore, given that I reset chunks. Because it was a really, really far way off. So the reason why that part of the lore is important, that they have the spider eyes that they bring in here, is because yes, this village has all of these little niche farms that I've built, but in my opinion, if you build multiple different areas in a Minecraft world, you're gonna need a reason to go back to those areas at some point, right? Otherwise, you're just gonna build it and you're never gonna see it again. So the niche farms are one thing, but the spider eyes are something that I think I'm going to be using a lot more in the future when I do really big villager trading halls and things, which I'm still planning on doing in this world. So that gives me an excuse to come back here, and if you always have excuses to go back, then putting a lot of effort into a build is definitely worth it. So there is still a fair deal of this episode to go. What are we gonna do? Well, I did mention that you need to stick around to watch me renovate this, right? Oh yeah, that's what we're gonna do next. First things first, I think I'm gonna tear down most of it, because it's just terrible. It just looks cruddy. It's just cobblestone and mossy cobblestone all over the place. Not great. I want to keep the overall dimensions of it, but the basic farm, or the basic build, I don't think we're gonna keep at all. Before we continue, I just want to take a moment and look at this roof. It's already starting to go to the third stage of copper, but this second stage, I have absolutely no idea what it's called. Can this thing over here tell me? Exposed cut copper. This looks really, really nice. For the context, for an industrial-esque looking build like this looks really nice. So I think when we do go back to the old world at some point, I'm probably gonna come back, strip this copper back down to this level, and then wax it to keep looking like this. But I have made some progress. I've stripped down the whole monument, and all that is left is this base, and I'm gonna keep this here just for the dimensions of it. I'm thinking I'm gonna add just one layer on the outside, and then I'm actually gonna ground it, because this corner is just floating and that's absolutely ridiculous. But that does mean that little bush needs to go away as well. I'm gonna add a wall of varying stone around the outside edge of this whole thing, and we're gonna build the base up to, I'm thinking 2 or 3 blocks above that level. Top it off flat, and then we're gonna build something on top of that. So I've got a couple of different blocks selected out here, and I think the main structure of the thing is gonna be built out of what's in this shulker box right here. Did you know you could have cracked deep slate tiles? I know you could have cracked deep slate bricks, but the tiles? That's amazing, that's revolutionary. Those need to swap places. Polished andesite's going to be my main structure, and then I'm thinking, at least for this pedestal base that I'm going to be building right now, I want to fill it in with the deep slate blocks and just have it be a nice dark pop of color here against the basic underbrush of this jungle. There we go. So what I've built here, very simple, very basic, is just a pedestal. Right? This is not the temple. This is just the base on which I'm going to build the temple. The first one is the main leveling platform, right? That just brings it up to the ground height so that people can access it, and probably that would be a level accessible by pedestrians, individuals, right? The next one, 4 blocks up, not so. I haven't built any stairs up. That is a pedestal, and in my head that makes it sacred. You can't access it, you can't get up there. But that is the platform on which I'm going to build the next part of this build. Now, I have not planned this part out in Creative. I have never built anything like this, ever. And I'm planning on building it, that's the wrong box, out of copper. Because in this village, while building this, while exploring 1.18, and this village is representative of that, of 1.18 to me in this world, copper became abundant. It instantly became an easy resource to gather, and I have absolute tons of it. So, in my head, this temple would worship that. Not necessarily this village or the people who live here now, but the people who built the temple, this idol, might have perfected the art of refining copper, and the individuals who came here learned from them, learned from their techniques, and this temple commemorates that, the abundance thereof. So, my friends, I think for the third and final time in today's episode, well, actually it's the fourth one, we're gonna go ahead and roll a time lapse. Just some finishing touches, just like that, and then, my friends, are you ready to see it? Are you ready? Are you ready? If I can nail a landing, I can't land today. But are you ready? Are you ready? I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna like it. Boom. I like it. I like it a lot. I really like it. It needs to oxidize though. This thing has to be blue. The orange doesn't work so well for me, so yeah. This could be a problem because oxidization takes forever. But I like it. I really do. The time-lapse you saw didn't include any of the moss or leaves or foliage that it now has. Because I finished that time-lapse, I stepped away for a little bit, came back, and when I looked at it, it needed something. It was too much. So I wanted to bring the jungle in around it a little bit, and I added some moss. I added a bunch of leaves, like vines hanging over, and everywhere where there was a bit of a flat surface, that's where grime and things would settle over the centuries that this statue has been sitting here. Quick disclosure, the monkey, not my original idea. It's actually from a Reddit user named Bitgardener, I believe. That's where I found the source on Pinterest and followed it. Theirs wasn't made out of copper though, theirs was made out of stone. And I really like it. There also seems to be a lead salesman down there for me. Such a kind and generous donation he made. Didn't even charge me for the leads. Fancy gentleman. I really like this, my friends. It's a grand, grand idol. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time AFK in this area, I think, and see if it can oxidize. I know that copper does not oxidize quickly, especially not if it is all clustered together like that. I probably should set up an oxidization farm, a copper oxidization plant of some sort sooner or later, but I really couldn't be bothered with that for now. But we have a monkey statue. We have a monkey idol. I believe the sun is setting. Let's go have a look at what this thing looks like at night. As the sun sets behind it, as if it heralds it. It might welcome the sun in the morning when it rises in the east. That looks quite nice. It's gonna start coming to life now with a bit of a glow. I did use soul lanterns, not regular lanterns, so they produce a bit less light overall, but I think the mystic energy of the blue would work quite nicely. Yeah, that looks really grand. That's glowing really, really nicely. I like it. I really like it. An absolutely absurd amount of time later, and just to prove to you exactly how long this has been, look at how much dripstone I now have. That is a lot. I'm pretty sure I got 3 stacks of that just from this AFK session, maybe even 4 of those stacks from this AFK session, but it was worth it. Because if we come over and land... No, I still can't land without revealing it. Whatever. Voila! There she is. That looks a million times better, my friends. I missed the trees. I'm terrible at that. That being said, I don't want all of it to just be fully oxidized like this. So if you take an axe and you right click on oxidized copper, it actually reverts one stage. Now I could revert this further, but I think I only want it to revert back one stage. Because it is ancient, it really is supposed to represent a very ancient structure. So I just want it to be a little bit cleaner. I can't reach that one, but that's okay. Just very, very minor. And not all of it either, just very select pieces. Now that looks a bit better. I only reverted those pieces, select pieces, back one stage, and only those to highlight the face a little bit, the rings on the tail, and the hands. Just to make it look like whoever carved the statue centuries ago put in a bit more thought as to the texture of the fur or the color of the skin or whatever that this creature would have had. That looks remarkably better. And so, my friends, we reached the end of this episode in which we did a lot. We built a really long road connecting our spider farm over here to our village way off over there. We built a lovely, quaint little campsite in the middle of our jungle to make our travelers feel at home and comfortable. And lastly, as we exit that part of the jungle, we built a monument to this village, to 1.18 really, a copper monkey statue, by redesigning a jungle temple. It's glorious. It truly, truly is, and our village is looking grander by the day. And I don't think that there is a grander way to end today's episode than with a big copper monkey breathing down the back of my neck. My friends, if you have enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you all thought. Until next time, my friends, have an absolutely brilliant one.